Hello Tech Genius, I am Ravi. Have you ever imagined a place where learning is as dynamic as the technology shaping your world? Then here's a deal. With iMatix, you can make sure the learning is exciting, impactful right from the beginning. You have interactive sessions with expert-led courses. In the world of tech, from data science to cloud computing, it's not just about a session, it's about doing, building, learning by solving real problems. So let's get started. As I said, every task that we perform involved in the background, there is a business process. Till now, what we have done, we have created positions, we have hired an employee, which are within those through tasks we have performed those activities. But in the background, those are business process. And to take it further, we will hire multiple employees in our organizations. Sometimes there will be a scenario. There will be a request moving employees from one organization to another organization, might be because of manager is not available. Manager is going on long-term leave for 6 months. And manager wanted to have the team members who are reporting to that person moving to another manager. For time being, for temporary purpose, we'll be moving those employees to different manager. And if manager gets terminated, automatically team members who are reporting to that manager will be directly inherited to the top level managers. Manager will be reporting manager. Now the scenario is we wanted to move worker from one organization to other organization. It is not just a task, it is something like a business process. Let us say now I am taking business process called move workers. You see, this is a kind of business process. And we also have a task on this business process, move workers, through which we can actually move workers from one organization to another organization. We will see how this business process is configured. And accordingly, we will try to some scenarios on this. Configured, but I see there is another. With this configuration, action item is missing, which is nothing but move workers. I will correct this error and we will try to perform the transaction. And then we will see how it works. Accordingly, we will change this business process and see how it works. Now the error that we are getting is you are actually configured initiation, but what business process has to do? You are not, you did not mention that kind of action. That is the reason why error. What we wanted to do, once the action is initiated, employee has to be moved from one organization to another organization. That is the action actually. Step B and action item. Now what I have done, I have added a step B that actually initiates the transaction, and the moment it initiates action, move workers will be submitted. Submitting this one, I did not add any steps, I just added. I have not added any approval for the steps. I just corrected the existing business process with the required task that has to be performed after initiation step get activated. Now we will try to perform a task. What is the task? Move workers. Effective rate. I will take it as a stress since it is still yesterday. Now suppose an organization from Robert Williams' organization. I will pick David Corey to be moved to Amit's organization. David from Supervisory Organization Workers Systems and Technology, which is managed by Robert Williams, will be moved to other organization to work the HRS, which is managed by Amit. The kind of manager change and also organization change. The moment I submit, whatever business process we have configured as per the business process, actions will be considered. The moment I submit, there should not be any approvals. There should not be any further processing. Automatically this step should be completed because in business process we just added initiation step. After that, action of move workers should be performed. Now submit. It has gone for an approval. Is it taking? Since there are two tasks, move worker and move workers, both tasks are associated with the day piece. In move worker business process, HR operation administrator rule is added. That is the reason we just triggered. Now I have removed this one. We will try to redo this activity. David Corey. We need to cancel the transaction that was triggered just now, or else this move workers transaction is in progress for David Corey. What I will do is I will go to actions of worker history, then the task that we just triggered, which is in progress. Just to get there was a task that was submitted. I'm just checking whether Logan has received the task because she is HR Operations Administrator. She is there, sitting here. This one, since we wanted to do testing from scratch rate, we make Logan do the cancel this thing. These are all the actions that we are getting from the security. I will show you how to now the security works. But now whatever Logan has received the task that we just triggered, we have denied this one. Because since we wanted to test without any approvals first, then make changes to the business process and add approvals and then do testing. There is a reason I removed that. What I will do is I will go to Office again. To yesterday. David, since we have cancelled, is still sitting in Robert Williams. Or else, if you would have approved, if Logan McKinnon would have approved, if he would have got moved from this organization to other. Now what we need to test here. Since there is no approval step, we have removed an approval step. There is no approval. The moment we submit this, David has to move from Robert Williams to HS, organization that is managed by Emit. People actually go with the many other organizations that you guys have created. But in the actual scenario, you are creating a task by HR actually. HR would be requesting you. Let me just select this one. HR would be placing a request for getting to move employees from one organization to other organization when there is no manager available. Now what we have done, we have changed the business process that does not have any approval. And the moment it get initiated an action to be submitted by moving worker from one organization to other organization. Now we have moved David from one organization to other organization. Since there was no any further steps in the business process, it got submitted. We will validate this. David Correa was the position of David Correa, and this is the chair. Here he was sitting in Robert Williams' organization. Now I will go to Amit's organization and see whether this guy is sitting there or not. We got David Correa moved to this organization. Now what I will do is I will make changes to the business process by adding an approval step and see how it works. Any questions far? Was it clear? Any questions or anything unclear far with the transaction that I have made? Can anyone explain what I have done now? Can anyone get to the points? What we have done now to see if just if you understood this, or move one employee from one organization to another organization without any approval. We just changed our business process, and we mentioned many approvals required from one worker moving from one organization to another organization. Since there are no approvals the moment we actually submitted, David has moved from one organization to another organization. But in actual scenario, if let's say if the employee who is getting moved from one organization to another organization, my manager should be notified that my manager should be getting an information that Amit is moving from an organization to another organization. Need your approval. Once my manager approves, I will be moving to another organization. If my manager denies, that will not be processed. Actually, it is something like that: you are moving from LM from HR to marketing, or marketing to anything. As for the business request, it is not like I don't know whatever. Let's say my manager is not. There is one example that I said, and I was reporting to one of the managers' last performance review. Now I moved to a different location, and that location responsible for taking care of my own person. For time being, till I am there in that location, I will be moved to that manager. When I move back to my base location, I will be coming back to my manager. Wherever I was supporting earlier, I came back to my manager. But when let's say for 6 months or 1 year, I will move to Singapore, will be performing some of the project related work related to one of the transition, one of the acquisition, or one of the nature. There, that one iteration, since I will be closing to mostly working with one of the manager. What HR has decided, since your existing manager will not be tracking your reviews, your performance, and all because you're working with a different manager. They will be able to assess your reviews, your this thing, all the approach that you're getting from Workday should be taken care of by that person. For that particular period, when I moved from one location to another location, I will be tagged to different manager. Then, once the project has got completed, I need to be back to my base location where my previous manager has to own my activities and all. Then I'll be kept back to the same manager who will be taking care of all my approvals, all my reviews, all those things. For such kind of requests, you're the moving worker and employee on some limited period leave where the manager thought that you would be the right person to assess the team members and all. Then in that scenario, employees can be bored, and there are certain scenarios department is getting changed and the department is no longer available, and the existing department will be taken care by another manager, that all the employees who are part of the existing organization will be moved to different organization. These kind of requirements will be considered. Can we define this change is a temporary? Not a temporary. I can say, as I said, the other example. Let's say we'll be reporting the supervisor organizations there, and there are 2 or 3 members working on the reporting organization. Now we thought that reporting and security will be working as a single team. Move all the workers and reporting organization to security, and they rename that organization as Workday Analytics team. We'll be moving those reporting members to security team, and we'll be renaming the organization as a reporting analytics. Such kind of things might happen. It's not a temporary, probably department change. Makes sense? Any questions? Now what we'll do is we'll try to make changes to the business process and see how it works. We'll try to do both move worker and move workers that we can actually do multiple or single employee. HR Operations Administrative is a security that I have created within this channel. Whenever you are making any kind of security additions around, use that security group because that is not attached to multiple team member, multiple accounts here. Those are attached to very limited. I think I have restricted to 3 or 4 people only. That is a clean security group. I can say you can use, but other security groups are attached to hundreds of profiles. You'll be seeing some kind of discrepancy. HR Operations Administrator is the one that I've created for just testing the business process and daily security related activities and all. I've created this. When you're actually practicing the business process, you can actually use this one, but in actual scenario you'll be getting a request from HR. Let's say move worker has to be there. Move worker, once the employer has got moved, request has been submitted, existing manager approval is required. What you will do, you will place manager role in the security. That manager will be getting this, or you will be getting HR administrator security. If you place HR administrator, HR team will be getting a notification to take action on that. But here what I have done is even HR administrator is there now, but hundreds of profiles are attached to HR administrator. There is a reason why I didn't use that one. I've created one HR operations administrator security group. And for all the business process transactions, I will be using that. I'll have a clean movement actually, because I will not have hundreds of people associated with the security groups. I hardly have 3 to 4 people that are restricted. All the approvals will be going to those 3 people. Now what I'm doing, I'm editing the business process definition and we will be adding to business policy. Before you wanted to add any security group to the business process, you need to go to business process policy. To add business process steps, you will be going to business process edit definition, and then we will be adding. To add any security groups to the business process, you will be going to business process policy. Edit this. Here you'll be adding on the required security groups who has to have a purposes to move workers from one support organization to another support organization. Currently here are people administrator, AR operations administrator, which are created the help purposes, and HR administrator and other security groups that have permissions. Whoever are associated with these security groups, those people will be getting action to perform move workers support organization related task. The moment I actually access the task from the search bar move workers, I'm able to get the task because of the security given here. If I don't give any of the security, If I'm not person of these security groups, even if I try for new workers, I will be not getting the task here. You are getting the task because Logan is getting this task because she is as HR administrator and she is HR operations administrator and she is also people administrator. There is a reason why Logan is able to access the task called move workers. All the security that will be processed through business process are defined here. Approve, who has to approve this one? Whatever security group that you will be giving, you will be able to get that approved, that security group under approval. Since I have added HR operations security group, I will be able to add this security group as approvers in the business process. If I remove this one, I will not able to add HR administrator and approval step because I am removing here and you will not able to add them. If HR administrator or security group exists in approval business process step, then I should be able to add HR operations administrator in a business process step that will be triggered. Similarly, we have a resign. Resign is nothing but send back. When you actually give a security group here, that security group will have access to resign the business process. Cancel. I was able to cancel the move workers transaction rate that I was able to do because I was part of. Where is the cancel option? Let me just cancel that. It is it. Denny was there, right? Deny was there. All users, by default, all users will be getting deny access. Even managers is approving. Since manager is just an employee, manager should be able to get deny option. And similarly, reassignment, reassigning this task from one person to another person. That permissions will be getting when the security group is added under reassignment task. These are all the business process transactions. I resigned, correct, approval, cancel, deny. All those are business process transactions. Your security, playing with business process transaction is nothing but business process security policy. You are actually going into that policy and making security changes. All the business process transaction changes will be performed under business process security policy. Now for move workers, these are all the BGP transactions. We have added some of the security groups and the security will be populated when we are trying to perform that action. Now what we are trying to do? We are trying to do an approval step. Since HR operations administrator is added under approval step, I should be able to add HR operations administrator to approve this transaction. What I will do, I will go to move workers business process. Edit definition. The yesterday's date. There are no other steps now. What I'll be adding? I'll be adding an approval step here. Step B, action approval. For the maximum approval, I'll be giving HR operations administrator. It's when I'm actually moving individual workers. When I'm in workers group of workers, there is a different business process flow workers business process. I will go to that step. I already have HR operations. That pressure is a critical. I'll just make the last step as completion step, because then it goes to approval. Once manager approves, an action will be triggered now. We already have this available. Someone assuming this or not, the problem is getting changed. Just remove this, right? I have not made this changes. I have removed. Someone parallelly working on this. Any one of you working on this? Now in the business process, we have an approval of HR operations. And after this person approves this one, this will be executing. An action will be completed. And when the business process is getting completed, we will be marking this step as yes by going into the relay reductions at that particular step. We will be going into the relay reductions in order to mark this step as complete, since business process removal as completion. We remove, S will go from there, it will not be completed from there. Once we remove here today, you will see the step that will not be marked as completion when we remove this one. Now if you wanted to add, you will see again the same option, add a step completion set as completion. Which means that with this step, business process execution has to complete. That is what we are saying. We have got yes now. Perform the transaction, we will see to whom it will be going, and then I will show you how security is associated with the relay. Move workers, what I will do. David has moved from Robert Williams to HR iMatix organization. I will try to bring back David from iMatix to the same organization from which he has got more. Move workers, let us see. David and iMatix organization, what I will do, they will move him to Robert Williams. and I submit this, it has to go for approval to HR Operations Administrator. People who are assigned to HR Operations Administrator will be getting approval. Let us see the business process. Some of you are currently working on this. See some security changes. I will tell you the reason why it has gone for approval. I would talk about the security. HR Operations Administrator is the security group that I have created. I was assigned few people to the security group. You can see these are all the people who are associated with the security group. Julia Logan and Steve Morgan Scott James are the security groups that are associated with the security group. Now though the approval step is added, it does not go for an approval. The reason why is the security group HR Operations Administrator attached to Logan, and Logan itself is performing the transaction. When let us say I am the approval, I am added as a kind of approval, but I only initiate the transaction. That does not make sense to go for an approval. I am an approval when I am initiating the transaction. It does not make sense to send again for an approval. That is what is happening here. HR Operations Administrator, security group provided to approve the transaction. But Logan McNeil, who has added here, she is actually performing the transaction. She is moving the workers from one organization to other organization. And since she is the approver here, it is not going for an approval. What I will do is I will edit the security group, remove this Logan from the security group, and then we will try to perform this transaction again. I will remove Logan's security group. Now we do not have Logan here. Now we will try to perform this transaction by Logan. Since now Logan is initiating the transaction and she is not part of the security group, the moment we actually perform this transaction, it has to go for an approval. Let me style my screen now. There we go. You can take any employee. Since we have hired employee in one organization, I am trying to stick to that organization. You have David under Robert Williams. I am taking this guy. And also you can move positions also. Any other open position that you wanted to move from one manager to other manager, you can move that position. I will take one more position here, a senior developer. I will move from Robert Williams to one manager organization. Now, the moment I submit, what should happen? Tell me. When I submit this, what should happen? It has to go for an approval or not. No, you don't. We have added approval set to the business process. And what was this? Who was the approver? HR Operations Administrator. Logan, Steve and Scott. There are a few more other people were there. And since Logan is the proxy that we are using now, Logan is also part of HR operations. And when we previously performed the transaction, it didn't go for an approval because Logan was part of the security group and Logan itself is initiating the transaction. It does not make sense, right? I have removed Logan now. Technically, since I have removed Logan now and since Logan is performing the transaction, it has to go for an approval or not. It should go to his manager for approval if he is initiate. Forget about manager or the administrator. We are just talking about taking the step to the security group. Security group may be anyone. Manager can be, AR operations can be, anyone can be. Now what we are trying to do? We are trying to see that how approval step triggers. Person may be anyone, whether it is manager or because this manager security group in this tenant is not proper. I have created another security group called HR Operations Administrator that I already told you, which is clean, which does not have any kind of restrictions. Now approval step should trigger or not. The moment I submit this, yes, it will trigger to HR. It has signal for HR operations. Technically, you can keep anything. If you keep manager, it will go for manager. If you keep for HR administrator, it will go for HR administrator. Anything you can keep, that is as per your requirement. I am trying to make you understand the concept here. Now in the business process configurations, what I have done, I have given HR operations administrator as a kind of approval. When Logan was initiating that, when she was part of the security group, there is no approval will be triggered because person who is in approval, he is the person itself is initiating the transaction. In that case, you will not see any approval triggering. Let us say when you join any Workday customer, you will be associated with all the security groups, all the HR admin, all the administration related security groups. You will be doing and most of the business process will have access for HR administrator to initiate the transaction. And HR administrator will be also in approval. When you are HR administrator, when you are initiating the transaction, again approval order will be coming to you. Does not make sense. This is the reason why Workday has made a kind of default feature. When initiator is an approval, there will be no approval required. When I am the initiator and I am also the approver being two rows, and when I am initiating the transaction, there will be no approval required. But when I am not part of approver security group, I am just initiator, then there will be approval shift in there. Do you understand this properly or not? This is an important thing. If you are not conceptually how security works, how business process will work on this, this is important because you are going to be a kind of super users when you get into Workday customers organization. Just make sure that you understand this or not. If you are not understand this, let me. Please understand this or not. When approver is initiated, will approval shift rigorous or not? When business process step approver is initiating the transaction, approver will shift with rigor or not? If someone was a part of that security group, then if someone was a part of that security group, then now let us say HR operates. Administrator security group is there. Amit is part of the security group. Now the same HR operates administrative security group is added under an approver under initiation actions. Ideally, technically, if you see the scenario when the initiate the transaction, it has to go for an approval. It has to go for an approval. Now this initiator is HR administrator. Approver is also HR administrator. The same person is initiating the transaction and the same person is getting an approval might not work. When approval is initiated in the transaction, why does an approval require? I am the manager. I am the manager now, and I am the approver. When I myself am initiating the transaction, there is no sense proper sale that actually comes here. Another approval will be required. If there is any additional security group other than HR operations administrator, if you add HR administrator where Amit is not part of the security group, then approval will be triggered. But here we are playing around with one security group. Amit is part of the security group. Amit is initiating the transaction. Amit is also added as an approver. Then in that case there is no approval step triggered. That is what we are seeing here. Amit is not a part. Amit is only a part of one security group and he only the initiator of the anything. How other manager or someone else come to know that he initiated something and he only approved it. Approval will not go there. I did not understand what you are asking. I mean, you are a part of one security group and you only initiated one transaction, and how your manager or someone has come to know that you only approved yourself for your any transaction and you only approved it. How does that happen? Business process approval will be given to only limited people. Not every employee will be having either team of work, team members or team of HR will be given the security group. Only they will be able to perform the transaction, not every. We provide security to every employee. Does not make sense, right? How does every employee can move their self from one organization? Here Amit is moving one employee from one organization to other organization because Amit is an initiator. Here I am taking Logan McLean as a kind of a refuse. Logan McLean is actually moving the transaction, initiating the transaction by moving employee David Core from one organization to other organization. Logan himself, he himself not moving his candidate from one organization to other organization. That is not possible. Whatever you are asking, that is not possible. I got it. What is happening here is Logan is part of HR operations security group, and when she tries to initiate the transaction, if she is under approval list, there is no approval step will be triggered because initiator is his approver. It does not make sense, right? Approval itself initiating the transaction, getting another notification. It does not make sense, right? I went there and I removed Logan McLean. Then again reinstate that transaction. Logan is not part of approval list in this HR operations security group, just triggered a notification. Who will be the approvers now? Other than Logan McLean people will be approved. If I go to details, I will not see Logan here. Other than Logan, it will be there. Earlier Logan was also part of this. That is the reason why approval notification has not triggered, because she is an approver, she is the initiator. Both cannot happen, right? Some will this. Logan McLean, can you raise the request on behalf of anyone? Yes, because she is the initiator, but she is not in approval security. Now these persons will be getting a notification. What we can do, we can proxy these guys and get this security, get this business process trust approved. All these scenarios come like under this situation, like if Logan McLean want to raise the leave for our team members. Anything same concept. Replace with all the business persons. Guys understanding this? Other folks, I wanted to make sure because this is an important. If you are not understanding, you will be out of confusion. What is happening? What is this in this case? Because you will be playing around most of the business process configuration in this scenario. Try to get some understanding. If you are not getting, try to raise a concern. This has come to who did we proxy? Julia by proxy, and Julia is approving this stuff. At the moment it gets approved, David and the position that we have actually moved, right? Those will be moved from one organization to another organization. We will go to the chart. Earlier it was Robert Williams. We will be seeing if we go to HRSM is organization. David Corinne organization, and we will go to open position staff, and we will be seeing the position also. This position also has got. Any questions here? For any transaction or for any transaction, that business process will be already predefined in this Workday, and we have to use that Workday to configure as per our part of organization. Business process Workday will be providing. What do you need to do? You need to create the business process according to your use. That will be there in the system, but you need to create that. You need to create that and add the ships as how you need configure the security for the business process, and then use that business process through the task. The same, here we can take the example as move workers. Move workers was already there in the system because this is the mostly used business process. It is already there, but when you are actually implementing core chat, you will be creating this move workers business process and configure the steps, add the security groups to the policy, and then use this transaction. Similarly, hire also. I thought of sharing hire also. Hire is having some issue. Similarly, it works for hire also. Hire, you can add multiple steps, but there is an issue with the business process. I was not able to show you the tenant issue with the hire business process. I was not able to show, but conceptually I will try to do one more example with different scenario. But I wanted to make sure the security concept where approver is initiated notification is not triggering. That kind of request or requirement, I wanted you to get familiar with that understanding. Now what I will do is I will take, since we have seen great positions, we have seen move workers, we have seen hiring, core chat, I think we are good in understanding. Getting an employee into organization for business process and moving workers from one organization through approval steps and adding the steps in approver. All this we have at least have some understanding. I will come out of HR now. I will come out of HR. Probably I will take one example of learning. You might be seeing learning module, right? Learning module where you will be enrolling into course and compliance courses. There are compliance courses that you guys Skillsoft would be one of the learning tool, and Workday is also similarly to the Skillsoft. It actually makes employees to complete their learnings within 1 day. Example, anti-corruption policy, code of conduct, sexual harassment. These are all compliance courses most of the organization will be having, and every employee has to take this compliance course. where we will be taking that course is a kind of concept now. Workday learning is there in the system where we should be able to take those concepts internally with Workday. All the learning courses can be created and can be performed in the Workday application itself, and then you can be tracked whether your learning completion is not there or not. Now, why I am saying all this is, I wanted to get you some understanding on the conditional based business process execution. Now, when course is assigned to you, when you will be getting a notification, we have compliance code that has to be completed for in next 1 week or 2 weeks. The code of conduct is a kind of mandatory code that we have in our organization. For every 6 months, try to complete this course. Obviously, most of the folks would have seen these kind of notifications in your organizations getting compliance, course completion, or the decision on where you will be completing those courses and be a kind of compliance to your organization. Now, similarly in Workday also, we have certain kind of activities. We can create a course, and once we create a course, we can make notification trigger to the person to approve course creation or enrollment. Once employee wanted to enroll into the course and complete the course, there is a business process. For creating a course, there is a business process. All these things are part of a learning model. Learning model is nothing but which provides learnings to the employees, which will be giving the video courses, virtual courses, all kind of learning activities will be performed in learning model. Now, in order to show a kind of different scenario, which is a different what we have seen in the chat, and it is additional skill set for you if you are actually placing these skills or this knowledge in your resume and the learning model. We do not have good people or good competition in Workday learning. HR, we have huge competition, but in Workday learning there are less number of people. I think whatever we are discussing now will definitely help you to add in your resume. Just note what I am talking about to Workday learning. As I said, Workday learning model is nothing but which provides learnings to employees. When I say learning, learnings are nothing but courses. In-person training or virtual training, online training, these are kind of internal trainings that you can do, which are nothing but courses. We have something in Workday. We can create a course and make that course to be visible. Let me proxy out in Julia and see how it works. Let me proxy out in Julia and see how it works. Learning is one of the models that is part of Workday. Every employee will be having learning worklet to be populated on the screen, which actually takes them to their learning screen. This is kind of a report that actually gets all the listed courses that are available. This is how generally all the listed courses that are available in Workday will be populated. An employee will be picking the course that they wanted to do, or based on the notification, based on the request that they got from HR to complete the mandatory course, they will be getting into this and will be taking the course. This is one example, that code of work. I will give you the background. Probably we can do the transaction activity in our next session. I will try to make sure you understand the process that we'll be doing, because it takes little time to configure everything and do this. I will try to give you the scenario and kind of brief understanding what will be the core of conduct course. Thank you. Any course that can be picked from here can be enrolled. You will be getting a course called. You will be getting an option for enroll. Once you enroll this one, you will be getting an option to start the course. When you start the course, you will be actually completed with the course. You will be taking the course and you will be marked as completion. And in the report that learning team will be pulling, you will be the person who will be in the list of completed course activities. Generally, learning is nothing but which provides learning activities to all the employees. That is the purpose of this modular learning module. All the courses, online courses, in-person courses that are available in multi-learning. Basically, we will be creating a course and that course will be attached to the course list. An employee can go to the list and take the course. And now why it is related to the business process. Here is I wanted to give again a good example here. We can enroll into the course and we can actually take that course and complete the course. But there would be some kind of courses that are associated with cost and are chargeable. When you take the course, that is chargeable course. When chargeable courses are there should be no approval from the manager. When non-chargeable courses are there, it should not go for an approval. When the course that you are enrolling is associated with cost, then only it should go for manager to approve. When the course is not associated with any of the costs, then it should not go for manager to approve. This is a kind of requirement that we will be performing. For this, we will be creating complete activity. We will be creating one course which is not cost associated. And we will try to make employee to enroll into the course. Then there is no approval. We will try to go to that particular business process. Enroll content business process. We will add an approval to the enrollment business process. We will try to do one more scenario. We will try to enroll. Then approval notification will be triggering. The third Friday days, we do not want all the enrollments to go for an approval. We only want cost is associated. Courses should trigger a notification to manager that approval is required. Here we will be writing a condition. We will be writing a condition. Approval has to trigger only for the courses that are associated with cost. We will write a condition and then approve, and approval step triggers. You have that particular business process step will be looking for whether the course is cost associated or not. When this is not associated, it will not trigger any approval. When you get associated with cost, it will trigger a notification approval. This is the kind of requirement that we will be performing in learning activity, which will execute as per the condition that we are defining. Through condition, it will be executed and it will be completing the task. Everyone clear with this requirement? Any questions or anything not clear in this? You know you guys will be performing the learning courses, be it any system compliance courses or any other internal courses in our organization. You guys are used to that term, right? When I say courses, compliance courses, those terms are, you guys are used to that term, or you are completely not familiar with this concept. Can we send a notification to specific people who are eligible for this course? For example, quality people have to do this course, or finance people have to go through the screening. It is a mandatory. That is also, as I said, right? Everything is possible. The moment you actually enroll into the course enrollment notification, you can actually configure a notification to employee. Or when course is created, learning administrator person who is actually managing learning courses, he will be launching the courses to all the employees. When launching the course to all the employees will be getting a notification that you are attached to this course and you need to complete this course. Kind of notification every employee will be getting. And if you want specific course to be applied for a specific group of employees, that is also possible. When you are creating course, you need to define that security criteria. And when learning administrator will be triggering a notification, only people who are attached to the course will be getting a notification. Can we release a calendar also? If I prepare quality quarterly calendar, these trainings will be on these dates to my target audience. But I think we are not talking about the other requirements. I am trying to make sure you understand whatever we wanted to discuss. Just focus on it, because other folks will get confused. They will be not following. If you have other requirements, what we are discussing, probably at the end of the course you ask you. Whatever we are discussing on the course class, just try to focus on that. Because I am trying to give you examples related to business process. I am not trying to get you the requirements, what are available in the learning course. I wanted to make you guys to understand the business process completely. And I am explaining the requirement, how the requirement is going to be when we are performing the activity, the conditional based business process. Just ask questions on this one. If you have any additional requirements in learning model, probably come out of the session and ask. because other folks will be demeaning. They will be not getting fine understanding. When you ask your own requirements, they will be not following this one. If you have any other additional questions that are possible or not possible, probably we can talk. End of the course. If you have any questions, what I am explaining, just ask that one. Let us stick to that one. Guys, otherwise you clear with the scenario that I have explained. There is a learning course. There is a learning course which is not associated with cost. When employees try to enroll to this course, they should not be in approval. And we will be making changes to the business process, adding an approval. When employees try to again do enrollment, an approval notification will be triggered. And our actual requirement is approval should not be triggered for all the courses. It should trigger for when the cost is attached to the course. When employee try to enroll into the course that is cost associated, then not to begin has to go for managing. These are the 3 requirements that we will be performing, but I wanted you to get familiar with the requirement. When I am performing that activity, you should not be glad. What he is doing in a way about this should not be bland, trying to make you to understand the concept actually. You are not here or anything not making sense, just let me know. And also during this activity, we will be creating course. We will be creating course. We will be making the course with the difference option open for enrollment, not open for enrollment. And we will be making changes to the business process. An approval has to be only for cost associated. All these things we will be doing. Just get familiar with this if you have not, because these are all the happenings that you will be seeing in your organizations. Now we are actually bounding to Workday business process, where this concept will be triggered as per the conditions that we will be adding to the business process. If it is not making sense, let me know. If it is clear, what I am performing in next session should be making sense for you. Not making sense, just let me know. Everyone clear with this? Yes. Can anyone explain the complete scenario, how it has to be when we do as an activity? Firstly, create the course, then we put the condition. If it is free of course, then it should not go for approval. What kind of condition? If it is a chargeable if, then we will go for. No, we will directly not add the course. We will directly not add the condition there. We will try to create a course first, and then we will make employee to enroll into the course. Employee enrollment. Then there should not be any approval. The first scenario, employee should be directly able to enroll into the course. Then we will go to the business process and add an approval step to the enrollment step. When employee try to enroll into the course, now it has to take up an approval step to the manager. Now the third request is, not all the course enrollment should go for an approval, only for the course that are associated with cost. When employee try to enroll into the cost associated course, that should go for an approval. These 3 scenarios will be performed. And this is a very unique kind of activity. You can actually take it as a kind of use case, business use case, and kind of concept under a business process, adding conditions. And when you add a condition, how it executes as per the conditions, we will be seeing them. And it is not only a business process, but also something related to learning. Learning course creation, making course at a cost, making changes to the learning business process. And while creating course, you will be knowing a lot of other options. Completely, I can say you will be getting understanding and learning module. Not completely, I can say, but 40 to 50% of learning the module will be hitting, or how it works, how the learning module works, and what all the activities will be performed in learning model. You will be knowing with this requirement, which will help you to add learning skills to your resume. Answer. If you guys are clear with this, get fine understanding when we start this activity. I think today is Friday, probably Monday. We will be catching up. We will be performing this activity on Monday. And when I am performing, you should be getting all this information related what we discussed today. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.